Come in and lend us your ears. The revolution towards achieving better hearing health starts here with us at Regain Hearing. Regain Hearing, regain clarity and learn how to listen again.
Hello and welcome to a new series of vodcasts with Regain Hearing. I'm Glenn Thompson. This is Lee Fletcher. Lee, great to see you.
And you?
We've got a great series lined up for our viewer on the channel here. All about hearing, of course. Why do I need hearing aids? How important is it? I mean, I can't hear that cuckoo. I can't take part in that conversation. But, you know...
Does it matter?
Does it matter?
Yeah.
They're probably talking about me anyway. But the importance of hearing aids, this is really what it's all about with you, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you really should treat a problem if it's there. Yeah. And people will tell you if there's an issue. They'll start nagging you because they're getting frustrated. You're getting frustrated. There's frustration involved with not just the person who experiences hearing loss, even if they haven't noticed. It's really important that if there's a problem there, you nip it in the bud. Like a lot of things in life. If you don't use it, you lose it. That same old adage. So if there is a hearing loss, which needs to be diagnosed properly, you do need to look at getting hearing aids, which are amazing things now. The technology has completely changed. Our careers have changed. 20 years I've been doing this.
20 years?
Yeah.
God, man and boy.
Yeah, absolutely. And before that, I was in sound engineering.
Oh, wow.
So wonderful step up that wasn't planned in the slightest.
Yeah.
So that's my background. But the general advice is find a local audiologist. Normally independents are better, generally. Not always, but they tend to have a bit more time and that's all they do. We're not talking about like, opticians, hearing aids, which is fine. We're all trying to do a decent job. But you do need to find an audiologist that will help you to the best of their ability and make sure that they give you the right hearing aid. What's the right hearing aid? There's over, I think it's 200 on the market. What are you going to choose? If you do need help, you're going to order from the internet. Not a great idea, really, because they're not just a set of headphones or a set of earbuds that people you see wandering around. It's not that
you
even.
need to get properly checked.
Yeah, I mean, you can even get, I think it's Apple AirPods now have the facility in them to actually correct hearing loss, which is clever. You do it on your phone.
Yeah.
I think that's a great way in. Great way for you to go, all right, got a problem. Maybe I should try and deal with this. I know. Let's put my AirPods in. I've got this nice little feature. Problem is, you don't really be going into somewhere important wearing your AirPods. Like, Glenn, do you maybe want to take your AirPods out? And then you've got to explain that there's a problem with the hearing. It's much, much better if you can get actual hearing aids programmed properly. It's all computer technology now. Even connect to your phone and all sorts, really, really clever. That's a much better way to go about it. Find a professional who cares and treat the problem.
And of course, you at Regain Hearing, you do care.
Very much. It's a prerequisite when joining our company. It's a great industry. Fitting hearing aids is so much better than it used to be. We have the most incredible technology that we can fit to people and it works. You've got to know what you're doing. It's really easy to fit a hearing aid badly. If you are just doing what the computer tells you to do, which is really common. The manufacturers of hearing aids will give us advice on how to fit hearing aids fine. That's not what I like to do, and what a lot of my associates, especially the independent guys, there's a bit of a geeky club of us, and we do really care about it, because I know it's a cliche, but it's life-changing. What we do changes lives, and that's the focus. Not the fact we get paid, yeah, that's nice, but I want to make sure that every person I meet gets the right help, the right hearing aids. That's what it should be about.
So, Lee, the thing with this vodcast series is to explain to our viewer what hearing aids are all about. I mean, to me, it's pretty obvious. You put it in your ear, it helps you hear. But there's a lot of advanced technology, which, of course, you know a lot about, you know all about. This is really a series that's going to help people who think they need to get a hearing aid, who think they have problems with their hearing. If people like my father-in-law watching this series, he's completely, and he won't mind me saying this, ignorant of the fact that he needs a hearing aid.
Happens, yeah.
But he's got to 87 years of age now. I'm using him as an example. He's got to 87, nothing wrong with my hearing, I can hear fine. Television's really loud in the front room, you know, can never hear anybody on the telephone. This is all about getting to know hearing aids before you actually buy them, because they're so advanced now, aren't they?
Absolutely. So we'd love to give a simple solution. We're all about that.
Yeah.
If we can give people who need hearing aids a solution that's easy, something that isn't quite as hard as it used to be. We probably all know what hearing aids used to look like over the years. Big, bulky things with molds that sometimes made you look almost handicapped. That's the stigma that it was quite common. And people don't like the idea of it. They don't like the idea of having to wear hearing aids. Feels like they're getting old, or there's something wrong with them that they could easily be embarrassed about, especially if people are ribbing them for it, that kind of thing.
Yeah. How do I know if I need a hearing aid? Obviously, I mentioned father-in-law, television's loud, can never hear anybody on the telephone. Pardon, what? What do you say? How do I know if I need a hearing aid?
Well, you might not. It might be wax build-up. So the first step is go and see a professional. A lot of people will book in to see GPs. That can be tricky nowadays to get in front of a GP or ENT specialist. So there are a lot of hearing aid centres around. Just get somebody to look in your ears. Make sure first that they are healthy and there's no blockage that needs to be removed that might solve the problem magically. So go through that process, very important. So normally other people will tell you, Glenn, if there's a problem.
Yeah. You can't hear me, can you?
So it's normally dragged in to a hearing consultation by family, friends. Sometimes they're very happy to be there, other times maybe not so much, and they think everyone else is mumbling or has the problem. When in actual fact, we have to be the bearer of bad news. But we frame it in a way that, look, there's a solution here. We can actually get to grips with what's wrong and then give you something that will give you back your hearing to whatever degree there's a loss, even if you think there might be. It's worth getting it checked out.
We all associate, I think most of us associate, and it's fair to say, that we associate hearing problems with age. And that's not always the case, is it? No,
it's interesting. Younger people seem to be getting hearing loss now. So we've all seen people walking around with headphones, in-ear buds. There's still people who work in very noisy environments. We live in a much noisier world than we used to a few hundred years ago. We're not really designed for this. So unfortunately, it does lead to a deterioration in hearing. It might be a genetic thing. You might be born with hearing loss. You might never have noticed and getting put at the front of the class at school, that kind of thing. We see that quite a bit. So it's about dealing with whatever we find in front of us. So the best advice really is go and get it checked. Doesn't matter how old you are. If there's a problem there, it's pretty obvious to us audiologists, and we go through a multitude, or we should go through a multitude of tests to properly diagnose. Yeah. That's the best word for it.
So a test is the first route then. I mean, if you have got a hearing problem, is the GP the first port of call, and then come to somewhere like yourselves, Regain Hearing? Or do you come straight to Regain Hearing and check it out? Or what's the route here?
It very much used to be the GP route.
Yeah.
It is getting harder to book appointments, and typically we are getting good ties with GPs and ENTs. I mean, that's our situation. Not all audiologists do. Independents tend to, but either or, really. Sometimes you get these free assessments that they're quite good. They're a good indicator, but what we tend to find is that we see people who have been told their hearing's fine, but they really don't feel that way. They come to see us, and because we've got maybe slightly more comprehensive testing, we diagnose that actually there's a hidden hearing loss there that's not often tested. So it's really nice when you can actually solve a problem, or you can at least diagnose it and say, look, this is the issue, every bit of equipment under the sun. So your audiologist should be able to tell you what's wrong. Sometimes it's better to pay for a hearing test. There are a lot of free ones out there.
You've got a vast selection of hearing aids here on the table, Lee. I mean, they've come on in leaps and bounds. They used to be the big old clunky thing, didn't they? You could see the hearing aid in the ear. A lot of them are invisible now, virtually. A great selection of products here. We'll talk about those later, obviously. But if you do wear a hearing aid, do you become reliant on that hearing aid? And if so, would your hearing without that hearing aid get worse?
It's quite a common misconception. It makes sense in a way. If I have to rely on something, become dependent, surely it's just going to get worse. It's actually the opposite. There's lots of study into this,
Yeah.
but you really should treat a problem the minute you get diagnosed with it, or very, very soon after, because you'll find that your brain's having to take over. You're having to fill in the gaps of conversation. So if you don't treat it, it will get worse quicker than if you put hearing aids in your ears that have been programmed properly, etc., and are designed for you, and then you have a solution that keeps the hearing working. Otherwise, it deteriorates a lot quicker. And just a quick example of this, we used to fit one hearing aid to people. Which ear would you like, Glenn? You know, it used to stem from a lot of the time it's the budget, or it could be NHS, same kind of thing, really.
Yeah.
And what we found is the unaided ear gets worse.
Oh, okay.
So if you fit a hearing aid to one ear, and you should test people yearly, always good to get your hearing tested annually if there's an issue, you can monitor the deterioration over time. And we found that the worst ear, normally it's the worst ear that has the hearing aid, remains kind of the same, kind of stable-ish. The unaided ear that used to be the better ear becomes the worst ear.
Yeah.
So that tells us hearing aids do the opposite. Put hearing aids in your ears, what you'll find is that you will maintain the hearing as it is, and your brain's been given all this lovely sound and stimulus rather than having this deprivation.
Yeah.
Auditory deprivation is not good for anyone, so it's always better to treat it.
Okay. Loads of questions to ask you on this first episode of the Regain Hearing vodcast. We've got loads to get through. But if I've got a hearing problem, I come to you. Well, take me through the process. I come here for a test.
Right.
Maybe through the GP, maybe straight here. You take me through the test. You talk about programming a hearing aid. It's not just a simple case of plugging it in and away you go then. I mean, there's quite a lot of work involved, isn't there?
Yeah, very much.
Yeah.
You need to diagnose properly first. Audiology first. So even though my background is sound engineering and I've recorded lots of music in my lifetime, it's all about the proper diagnosis at first. So when you go and see an audiologist, it's normally better to go to an independent because they have more equipment. Makes sense. And if they are charging for the hearing test, that does tell you that they're probably going to do a little bit more of a detailed job. Not always, but it makes sense that you want it diagnosed correctly. So a lot of them will take photos of your ear on screen. It's good for you to see. Some people look away, squeamish. But it's good to have record of that, especially if we have to then send any kind of report to other medical professionals. It's good to have images. So that's something we do. A lot of audiologists do that.
Sure.
The next step is to test the pressure of an eardrum. I really like having that myself. And again, not every place has that. It's called tympanometry.
What does that do then? Just very quickly, what does the testing the pressure do?
So, yeah, pressure of the ear, really important. I mean, the eardrums all behave differently, and I just want to know that information. So, funny you should mention pressure. I have a tympanometer behind us.
Tympanometer.
Tympanometer. Timp for short.
Say that quickly. Tympanometer.
Tympanometer.
All
I'm
right.
so used to saying it. Really clever device.
Yeah.
This gives us incredibly accurate readouts that we can then use at corrective values, and it allows us to show people on these big screens what their pressure is like of the ear, which we can then store and monitor in the future.
And what does that pressure tell you? I mean, does it tell you if somebody is losing their hearing?
It's a strong indicator.
Yeah.
It can absolutely tell you if there's a perforation or if there's a problem with the hearing bones called the ossicles, smallest bones in your human body.
Oh, right.
If they're not working properly, or if there's a problem with the eustachian tube, which connects ear, nose, throat, it will all show up with this machine.
Okay.
So I really like having the ability to do this.
Right, so he's going to have a go at me.
Yeah, I'm going
be on
to
this
throw
one,
you
yeah.
in.
All right.
Let's go on camera.
All right, on camera.
Perfect result.
Okay.
So there's your graph.
Right.
Show the camera.
Yeah.
So it's showing us that
Yeah.
you have healthy ear pressure. A little bit high compliancy, which means your eardrum is very slightly looser, but that could just be how you were born. Not really much of an issue. It's just nice to have this type of data. If we're
Yeah.
going to fit hearing products to people, well, should we try and get the best information we can? Not everywhere has these. I'm not like showing off. I just want this information.
Sure.
It's lovely to go somewhere that has a pressure test that you can perform and then use that information, or absolutely explain to them what's wrong.
But at the end of the day, on your test, on me, I'm okay.
You're completely normal, Glenn.
Great.
Completely normal.
That's not what everybody says, don't worry. Yeah.
So, yeah, very good.
So, Lee, does it matter where I get my hearing test done then? Because there are lots of hearing aid specialists out there, aren't there? You're unique. We'll find out your uniqueness in just a moment. But can I get a test anywhere? Does it matter?
It's always a good place to start. Just get somewhere local. Make sure you can get your hearing tested by a professional. It makes a lot of sense.
And worth pointing out that wherever you are in Kent, particularly, you're less than 45 minutes away from a Regain Hearing centre.
Wherever you are in Kent, you're pretty close to one of our locations. We've got like 11 of them now. And we also have a home visit service for people who can't get into a practice, which is really worth mentioning. And we're really proud of what we do. So we do actually have amazing equipment. The diagnosis is incredibly important. And we choose to have audiometers that give us a more detailed prescription. It's called an audiogram, and it allows us to then program hearing aids accordingly. So it makes sense that if you've got more detail in your audiogram and your prescription, then you're going to get a better sounding pair of hearing aids. I find that incredibly important. It's not essential. You don't have to go and find somebody who's got that equipment, but that's what we like to do. So the best advice really is just find somebody who's got decent equipment, who's a professional, who can give you the best diagnosis you can, so you can make a decision about whether to treat your hearing with hearing aids or not.
What makes you unique then, Lee? Regain Hearing, what makes you guys unique?
So we do have the best equipment we can get. I'm a bit geeky with this stuff. I just want to know.
It is geeky. I've looked around the clinics here. There's loads of stuff around here. It's amazing, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's just really nice to have the best equipment you can. And we're really passionate about what we do. Most audiologists are, to be honest. It's like any profession. You get some people who are really good at it, others maybe not quite as good or more experienced. But it's great to have equipment that you can rely on, that you can then explain on a case-by-case basis what's wrong with your hearing. What are we going to do about it? What is the best advice I can give you? If you then want to go ahead and order hearing aids, well, that's a whole another kettle of fish, but it's great. It's amazing what can be done now. So if I've got the most amount of data available about each particular person, I know I can do a decent job. So some of the places you go to, they won't charge, I just do a free assessment. That's okay, but I wouldn't want to program a set of hearing aids from that. I want more information. That's so important that my audiologist hat is firmly on diagnosis mode. I need all the data available so I can then do my job properly.
I'm fascinated by this phrase, programming the hearing aid. I mean, everybody's hearing is different, as you've highlighted earlier. How do you program a hearing aid? What do you do?
Yeah, it's quite the skill.
Yeah.
So some audiologists invest a lot of time in this. Others, they fit the hearing aids like a pair of earphones, headphones, and say, call us if you have a problem. There's nothing wrong with that. That's all we used to have, actually. So programming means we are fitting the hearing aids as accurate as we possibly can, using computers, this amazing technology that we have available to us, to finely tune. Now, it's important that we know what we're doing, because everyone is different. Every ear is different, much more than eyes. Ears, all different shapes and sizes. So that's our first barrier. How am I going to fit a hearing aid to your ears? Am I going to be able to fit the one you want? Or am I going to give you advice that you maybe don't want and say, look, my professional opinion, my recommendation is that you have this. And sometimes they won't accept that. And I have to go with what they want, the smallest one. You know, you get some very small hearing aids, but you can program them amazingly. It's difficult because you've got to have a skill set. You've got to be good at what you do. You've got to have a whole selection. You've got to have time. So if you're going to invest in your hearing, and it really is an investment, not just like buying a set of headphones or something, then you need time to fit them how you think as an audiologist. How should I fit them to you? I need some information. I need time. We're not going to do this in half an hour. I mean, I've had to try and do that before. I hate it.
It's research, isn't it, really? You're doing your research on that patient.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's your experience and what you want. What do you want to listen to? We all have different tastes in music. I can't get inside your head and listen. I like that phrase, I use it a lot. I wish I could just get inside the head and listen, but I can't. So I just want to be able to program that as effectively for you, and let's get you back in for evaluation, verification. Really important we do that, or you're not going to be able to fit them properly to people.
So it might seem like a very odd question, Lee, but what is the difference between hearing and listening? Because there is a difference, isn't it?
Quite a big difference.
Yeah.
It's something that it's hard to get your head around a little bit, but we all learn how to listen when we grow up in classrooms and things. We are very good at focusing our attention. That's listening. It's a skill. So a conductor of an orchestra has got amazing listening skills. I mean, I like my music. I record music. I could stand right next to a conductor and he or she could be pointing out things that are wrong.
But they're listening to every musician, aren't they?
Yes, they're using their listening skills.
Yeah.
If your hearing's going, you're listening, you're having to rely on memory. A lot of people have to rely on memory. So I wouldn't necessarily pick up on someone if it was out of tune at a time, whereas a conductor would. And my listening has been worked on for quite a long time now. So my hearing's pretty good, thankfully, but I'd like to think my listening skills were right up there because musician, etc., and recording music, I think pretty good, but not as good as a conductor. And musicians have normally got very good listening. If your hearing starts to deteriorate, then your brain's having to fill in gaps. It's very, very difficult. You can still do it from memory, but it's much, much harder, which is why it's so important. Treat the hearing as soon as you can.
Yeah.
The sooner you get on this and protect yourself from losing more hearing by stimulating your hearing and your brain, the sooner you will put a stop to this and you will engage in conversation again. It makes it much, much easier to regain those listening skills, not just your hearing.
And it's so important, isn't it, to get that hearing checked the moment you think there is a problem. The moment that television is going up in volume, you think...
Good indicator, yeah.
On the television, it's level 30, you can see it when you turn the telly up, level 35. Why am I listening to level 40? Maybe I need to get my hearing checked.
Yeah.
Maybe somebody's told you in the family, are you deaf? Can you hear me? They might be just joking, but they might have a point.
It happens all the time.
Yeah.
Other people notice first. They tend to anyway. So you need to get hearing aids that are going to put that right, properly correct, like never before. It's incredible the technology that's out there because if you carry on and you don't treat this problem and you let it get worse, thinking, I'm not ready, or I'll wait till it gets to a point where I really need them, you're doing yourself a disservice. The hearing will deteriorate and it's permanent.
Yeah.
You can't get it back. We like to work with as much information as possible. If we can treat it at an early stage, much easier for us. Even if the hearing aids are better in 3 or 4 years' time, your hearing won't be. Treat the hearing as soon as you can. We'll program the hearing aids. A decent audiologist will spend time with you, get it right, so that TV comes down in volume, people stop moaning at you.
Stop shouting at
And
you.
and you're nodding in the wrong places and all these things that people do to make up for it. Because another thing, briefly, is that it affects memory. So it's a whole different discussion, but if you are multitasking in life, you can't store a memory very well. If your brain is having to make up for a hearing loss, you can't store a memory very well. Same kind of thing. It's no wonder really, according to the latest research, that hearing is connected to dementia. Not a very nice subject, but it's one of the strongest links to dementia. You don't want that, no one wants that. So the best thing you can do is get hearing aids. Get something that is neat, that fits comfortably, that's programmed properly, and you get your hearing back to where you should be, where you want it.
So Lee, does it make a difference to who fits my hearing aids? I mean, there's lots of people out there in the high street. Does it make any difference?
I think it makes the biggest difference, which might be surprising to hear. It's so important you get somebody who knows what they're doing. A lot of audiologists do. It's like any profession. Some are brilliant. Some maybe not quite as good. They might not be as experienced, or they might not have the time. It's about time.
Yeah.
That's what you're getting. If you are going to invest in hearing aids, even if it's the very cheapest ones, fine. Get somebody who'll give you a good follow-up process. The aftercare is the most important element. If it's not working, what do you do? We've met so many people that come in with pretty decent hearing aids. Even some of the NHS hearing aids, they're not bad now, but they haven't been necessarily fitted very well. So if you weren't getting on with your hearing aids, it's probably a lot to do with the person who fitted them.
Okay.
Which is, put myself open here, but you need to have somebody who is a little tenacious with this.
Yeah.
And that goes back to, well, what are we doing this for? Why are us audiologists doing this? We want to get people hearing clearly. And it might take a few more appointments, and that doesn't always happen with some of the companies out there. You don't always get the follow-up process. That's kind of what you're paying for. So who's fitting them? Massively important. Do they go the extra mile? Do they listen to what you're saying? Audiologists that don't listen, I've met them. You need somebody who's going to work with you, because our perception is different.
Yeah.
If we like listening to different things, then we need to figure that out between us, and we'll get there in the end.
Your passion clearly comes through, Lee. Regain Hearing is what it's all about. And of course, we all want to regain our hearing, don't we? So this is the first in many episodes that we're going to be doing right here with Regain Hearing and Lee, of course. And we've got one on tinnitus, I know you want to talk about.
Yeah.
A huge product range as well, just the tip of the iceberg. So lots more to come. If you want to get in touch with Regain, contact details coming up in just a moment, the phone number and the website details. But Lee, thanks for your time. We'll catch you next time.
Thanks so much.
Good to see you.
Thanks, Dan.
Take care.
Thank you for watching. For more information, visit regainhearing.co.uk.